evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great pleasure that I welcome you to the Koolark Koort Koorliny, Hart Coming Home, the Herbert Meyer collection of Carrolup artworks exhibition opening. It's only 12 weeks since Curtin signed the Memorandum of Agreement with Colgate University for the transfer of 122 artworks in the Herbert Meyer collection. And it's exciting that these artworks have already made their long journey from New York back home to Western Australia, and for us to be celebrating their homecoming tonight with the opening of this exhibition. Curtin is deeply honoured that Colgate University has chosen to transfer these significant artworks to our university so they can come back to country and be enjoyed by the Noongar community and all West Australians. We are committed to exhibiting the works widely to ensure the Noongar and wider community can enjoy them. There is also the opportunity to use this body of work for research projects to learn more about the period of West Australian history. The strong collaboration between Curtin and Colgate will continue, and we anticipate increased student exchanges to take place. There's also great potential to develop a scholarship program between the two institutions, particularly focused on Noongar students from the region. I look forward to the continuation of a long and valuable relationship with Colgate, Curtin and the Noongar community around these very significant artworks. It's now my pleasure to introduce May McGuire to give the welcome to country.
Yamba yoks, moms, ngan Europe neji yagin wagin nunak wajah puja. Kora, ngan demanka, mamanka, arna, niche barni, niche, ngala puja. Double Yurigan, Pilya, and Jalgrub. Many years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all here to the Curtin Uni tonight for the beautiful art exhibition that's been lost for many years ago from our dear old people way down in Carrolup Mission. And I do appreciate to see Brother Angus sitting over here on the other side. It's tearful because he's been in the missions and so have I. I've been in the missions, but in New Norcia. And myself also had lots of, sorry, but I know it's an heartfelt thing tonight. And when you go on that track of being a person who was taken and put into a mission and had your great art experience done within your yeah. Sorry, because I've been there, I know the feelings, and the majority of you, I think, have been there as well. But tonight is a happy night because we have our art back from the States. And my brother, I'm proud to see you here once again because he was one of the first, or was the first, in Carrolup Mission. And go on to say from what I mentioned in my Noongar language was, I'm pleased to be standing here to be welcoming you to the Wodjuk lands of the Noongar people here in Perth. I'm very proud to be a descendant of those dear old people who lived along the beautiful Swan and Canning rivers of Perth. So once again, I hope we all have a good evening tonight. And kujit pa jinang nunak maya ngaina nitjabal bija birdi will take me home. May the good Lord above take you all safely to your homes tonight, wherever you're from, and I know you'll take me home safely. So once again, I'll hand it over to all the experts and welcome to all the distinguished guests. And our distinguished guest is one of them down here, my brother Angus. Thank you very much.
Maeve, thank you very much for that very moving welcome. I would now like to invite Dr. Richard Walley to formally open the exhibition. Dr. Walley has been awarded an OAM for his services to the promotion of Noongar culture, both in Australia and internationally. Please welcome Dr. Walley. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to make a couple of points, I'm very, very humbled and very honoured to be asked to open an exhibition. I've opened many exhibitions in different parts of this country and, matter of fact, all over Australia. My former role was chair of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Arts Board, which got me to places not only in Australia but outside of Australia. But the most humbling and the most rewarding and the most spiritually fulfilling events are amongst our own people. And this is one of them. This is one of the highlights. My mum also went to Carrolup. People may not know. And she was very good friend, I think, with Alma Herbert, who's another Carrolup there. My mum was friends with Alma. And I'm humbling here to see the elders again. Uncle Angus, Auntie Maisie, there's lots of elders that are here. And in our culture, we have lots of family. Not only our family, but when you get married, the in-laws are families as well. And I was married twice, so I've got two lots of in-laws. And a lot of those in-laws are here tonight from the Great Southern. I'm Wajak, Balladong, Yuat, Birinjarab, Wardan, and also Yamaji in my line. And very blessed to know where they are. And to open an exhibition like that, we call a Kanya Mawangin, Kora Mort Kanya Wangin. It's from our people from the past, the spirit and the present. And we didn't have painting, we called them Mawangin. They spoke with their hands through the spirit. In our cultures, we say it's a cultural expression. It's not artwork. It's a part of our being and a part of our existence. And to leave a legacy, and a legacy in such a works, is very important. A lot of us who are delving in the realms of the art were extremely influenced by the Carrolup movement in those days. And to go back there, I think it's about 15 years ago, Uncle Angus, he took me back and we walked and he showed me around at the places where, where my mum was a little girl and stayed in. And I think we sang a couple of songs together. And those sorts of things are very important because that's what these works remind us of. Also, the paintings there are Laurel's. Laurel used to be our neighbour in the bush just out of Pinjarra when she was taken away as a 6-year-old girl. And she was taken to many different places, Carrolup. Some were taken to Wandering, some were taken up to New Norcia, Moore River Settlement. So a lot of those kids were taken in those areas. We were all bush kids at that stage, and I was actually blessed in the area because my older brother and sister were taken away. One went to Sister Kate's, one was in the Moore River Settlement. I said, Mum, so we had people in all the reserves, like all of us here. So I state that because it is not unusual, like Auntie May says, that a lot of us have links to all parts. I may only have sections and 5 different sections within our countries, but we all have connections. And regardless of what anyone say, Noongar people are one of the most connected and proud and strong people in this country. And I'm very, very proud to be a part of that nation, this nation. So declaring it open, as Annie May said, it's a very warm night tonight. It's very warm. So I had this talk when I declared the open for the premiere thing. And there's a few Noongars there. And it's good to see a whole lot of us here tonight, which is really fantastic. Because when you declare something open, in our era, there was different connotations when it was open. And I had to say to them, we're not declaring it open so that it's not good, no good. We're declaring it open so that people can have a look at it. So we have to have the definition, of course. When you say something is open, the Noongars are laughing, the Wajal will be saying, what are they laughing about? And so I'd like to just pay a little tribute, because one of the things that we shared, and shared a lot of people when we travelled, was food. And food was very important to us, and particularly the kangaroos were painted in a lot of the pictures. And that food, whenever we got to someone else's place, they'd always ask you, have you had something to eat? Would you like something to drink? So I just want to declare it open by singing a little song about ngarning, about us sharing the ngarning, the yonga, the damper, and the jiljet, the fish and the ngarning. Ngarning, 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 ye, kopen, kopen, ngarning, ye, ngala koli, ngarning, ye, bamin yonga, ngarning, ye. Ngarning, 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 ye, bamin jiljet, ngarning, ye, kopen, ngarning, ngarning, ye, ngala boodja, ngarning, ye. Kopen, ngarning, kopen, ye, kopen, ngarning, ngala, ye, kopen, ngarning, ngarning, ye, ngala boodja, ngarning, ye. Kaya. I'm very glad that the good spirit be with us here tonight to declare this open. And thank each and every one of you, and particularly those, I'd like to have a big thank to those who actually asked me to open this, because as I mentioned, I'm not saying it because you're all here. This is one of the greatest honours to actually be in amongst our people participating in a very special event like this. Thank you very much and enjoy the night.
Thank you very much, Richard, for your very inspiring words. My name is Chris Malcolm, and as director of the John Curtin Gallery, I'm going to try and talk as little as possible. My next person to introduce is Professor Allan PERCY KRALY from Colgate University in Hamilton, New York, whose passionate determination for this collection to be returned home has finally made the dream a reality. Allan, would you please come and have a chat?
Words are a challenge on such a beautiful evening. It's wonderful to be here with dear friends. EZZARD Flowers, Mr. Angus Wallen, Mr. Allan Kelly, and so many others with whom we've shared this journey. Ethel Farmer, Sandra Hill, Eugene Eads, Chris Malcolm, so many friends. Our Vice Chancellor, Colgate's President, Jeffrey Herbst, and our Provost, Douglas Hicks. On their behalf, we bring greetings, respect, and affection from Colgate University. Two of my colleagues are with me here this evening. Anya Chavez, our Director of Museums. Anya, could you raise your hand? You're back further. There you are. So please greet Anya tonight. And also Professor Scott KRALY, Professor of Psychology and Neuroscience, my husband, who's here as well. Scott, where are you? There you are. We, on behalf of the university, share the privilege of sharing with you the beauty of this moment. The Noongar children of Carrolup have brought us, all of us here, together today. When the light of their exquisite drawings appeared in New York nearly 10 years ago, they taught students and the teachers of those students, persons like myself, many lessons. Lessons about beauty and culture, and how the past can point to a future, a beautiful future. One of those lessons was the importance of bringing the Noongar children's work, their drawings, their paintings, home, where they now can touch the eyes, hands, and hearts of the children's people, and where they can be cared for, and where they can be made widely available to continue to teach lessons about culture, about community, and about care for country to people in country, as well as people from around the world who will hear these stories and learn good lessons. In coming home, the Carrolup art and artists continue to teach us all. We at Colgate will continue to learn from the children, and we will continue to learn from all of you. As we share a new chapter in this art book of lessons, lessons of beauty, goodwill, and always friendship. Thank you. And now it's my true honor, my pleasure, my joy to introduce one of my dearest friends in all of my life, Mr. EZZARD Flowers, CEO of MUNGART BOODJA Art Center.
Thank you, Ellen, for the kind words. Today is a very significant and important time in regards to our history. Just as we need to acknowledge our culture and our spirituality, I acknowledge the performance by the Wadamba dance group, also the words of Brother Richard and Sister May in regards to the history and the spirituality and also the significance of these artworks returning back home on the country. I've got to try and talk as much as I can, otherwise I'll be emotional, but that's what these artworks have done to me over the last 10 years. When I first made contact with Athol Farmer back in 2004, these works of art, they actually dragged me through this story up until now. So there's a few people that I'd need to acknowledge in regards to these artworks. The Koolark Koort Koorliny, and the name says it all in regards to the homecoming of these unique and significant and magnificent pieces of art that was dormant for all those years and until 2004 at Colgate University. So as I acknowledge everyone thus far in regards to this opening, I'd also like to acknowledge the children from the school of Carrolup and also the artists in regards to the reason why we're here. I'd also like to acknowledge Uncle Milton Jackson in regards to the Koolark Koorliny exhibition that happened back in 2006 through PF. And at that time we thought that Uncle Milton was the only living artist that we had. But in that program we also realised that Uncle Allan Kelly was also an artist out at Carrolup. And it's good to see Uncle Allan here this evening. And also it was good to see him and Uncle Angus Wallam catch up as well, because Uncle Angus has been a significant and major part in regards to, as well as Uncle Allan, in regard to the history and the Carrolup School out on the mission site. So for these things to happen, there needed to be other people involved with this as well. So tonight I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. and Mrs. White and also Nolan for being here. No doubt all these people who we are acknowledging, their spirits are in our presence. And I know that if they were here, they'd be overwhelmed as much as I am to see these fantastic and beautiful artworks coming home. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Ms. Florence Rutter, because if Mr. White was the match that created the light in that little dark space down in Carrolup in our dark history, well then Mrs. Rutter illuminated that light when she took all these artworks around the world and exhibited it So on the behalf of all the Noongar people and the family of the artists, we acknowledge Mr. and Mrs. White, also Nolene, Miss Florence Rutter and her family, who are here, I believe. We thank you for coming and making your presence here. But since the early 40s and the late 50s, after Mrs. Rutter sold the artworks, there was that void. There was a time of silence and a time of quietness within our culture, within our history, and also within our art. So I'd like to not take this time to acknowledge John Stanton for being there at that point in time and bringing the vision and the history of Carrolup back into being through his bicentenary project at Marrowbank Mission back in 1988 of the Carrolup history and also some of the Carrolup artworks and the Marrowbank photographic exhibition. So John, we thank you. And also from 2004, and before 2004, before we actually realised where these artworks was, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Athol Farmer for his involvement and also for his vision in regards to MUNGART BOODJA, and also for introducing me to the PF International Art Festival, because the focus was going to be in 2006 on Noongar culture. And it wasn't until we were standing on a hill overlooking the mission site that it actually hit me that these artworks are an integral part of our history, of our culture, of our identity, and also of our spirituality. And it was there and then that I was talking with Athol, and we said, well, at least if we know where they are, we will know that they are protected and preserved, and that'll make a big difference, because we know that we're not going to see them. You know, we're not going to fly anywhere. We aren't going to go anywhere. But as long as we know where they are within our arts. And it was after that point in time, about 2 weeks after, there was a lady who came out from Colgate, a geographer, and all she had in regards to Carrolup with the artworks and the style of the trees. And she came out, and Athol introduced me to her in passing, and I thought, well, that was it. But 2 weeks after that, with the assistance of PF, with Linda Hume and Carolinas, I had the opportunity of going to New York with John Stanton and also Athol to actually have a look at these artworks and to see what they were like. And it was over there when we was in the Picker Art Gallery that a photograph caught my eye, because going over there on a 36-hour flight, leaving the country for the first time, and 40,000 feet up in the air, I was absolutely scared. And I wasn't worried about what I was going to talk about. But when we went into the picker, Ellen gave us, said to us to have a moment so we could reflect and connect. And I connected to a artwork that was entitled Down to Drink, and it was this one here of Uncle Parnell Dempster. And it was there and then that I realised that I knew what I had to talk about, because even though I wasn't in Carrolup Mission, I was in Marrowbank, but it's the same site, but with different eras. And we were both the same age in regards to the same site. So I spoke from the art in regard to the significance, and John and Athol also done the same. And we was surprised to have found out that we could bring back 35 pieces of those artworks back for the PF Art Festival in 2006. And we had no idea what was happening back here while we was over there. But when we came back, we were just blown away in regards to how the community moulded and gelled together to make this homecoming of these 35 artworks special and significant, and how they embraced each other and also these artworks that was deemed lost for all those years. So after 2006, or actually 2004, Allan came out with Rebecca Brereton, who was the first student in regards to cross-cultural exchange with MUNGART BOODJA. And Ethel and a few other of the boys took her around to country and showed her the sights, and especially out at Marrowbank Mission, Carrolup, where that little school is. And it was from there that bigger things started to develop and started to happen, simply based on trust and respect for one another, for the distance between each other, and also for the outcomes in regards to students coming over from America, and hopefully in the future, students going over to Colgate through Curtin, because Curtin came on board as well within the partnership that is nearly 10 years next year, and it's been amazing partnership, amazing experience, and everything that I've been involved in regard to this journey, this story. It's a tremendous. It has given me a tremendous opportunity simply just to sit and listen to what people say in regard to these artworks and their connections as family, and also as grannies as well, because even though these kids done all these artworks, you know, they're still here with us in this place here. Leading up to this homecoming, I didn't want to come here because I thought, well, if I go there, I'll break down, and that'll ruin me. But I'm glad that I did come here and had the opportunity to walk through and to have a look at all those amazing and unique pieces of artwork that was done by kids back in the 40s and the 50s. And to see him just suspended in that arena there, in that gallery, just like they've been suspended within time, and they still are. And it's a magnificent exhibition, and not only in regards to the old collectives coming back, but also in regards to the gesture that has happened, not only from Colgate University, but also from the Mayer family, because it was sold to the Mayer family from Miss Rutter, and we'd like to acknowledge them as well, because what they've done in regards to these artworks, coming back home, and to be the sole benefit of the Noongar people in regards to reconnecting to our history, to our past, and also to our heart. It is absolutely tremendous. This gesture on an international scale is absolutely fantastic, because now we have something within our grasp. It's not 36,000 miles away or 36 hours away. It's here on Noongar BOODJA. It's back where it belongs. It's back where it was taken from. And when I say taken, it was given from the art, because those kids who actually done these artworks actually gifted them to Mrs. Rutter. And Mrs. Rutter and even Mr. and Mrs. White, you know, they also had a fantastic art, because for those kids to be in that place at that time without any mothers or fathers or family connections, the closest thing that they would have had would have been Mr. and Mrs. Rutter, and Mr. and Mrs. White, and also Miss Rutter, Florence Rutter. So this is indeed a tremendous opportunity and an exciting night for me. But just in closing, over those nearly 10 years now, there's been a tremendous involvement of kids coming out, and these artworks has already given benefit to those kids who come out from America, not only to understand and find out where these artworks, what artworks are and where they were made or painted, but also it gave them an insight in regard to reconnecting to their own Indigenous communities over there and their history. So the beneficiaries of these artworks are the Noongar people who are present and also who's going to be coming in the future. This is all about reconnecting to country, reconnecting to people, reconnecting to family, and reconnecting to our culture, our identity, and our sustainability and longevity in regards to us as Noongar people. And just in closing, I'd like to take this opportunity of acknowledging a dear friend, Allan, who have given me tremendous encouragement throughout the last 9 years of embracing our past history and embracing our future with the homecoming of these artworks. And I'd also like to acknowledge Scott as well for his support for Helen. And I hope that these artworks will be embraced, acknowledged and understood by each and every one of us here for what they really mean and how significant they will be as we continue into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Allan and EZZARD, Dr. Richard Walley, Professor JEANETTE Hackett, and the Wadumba Dance Group, all for being part of this momentous occasion. I do have some thanks to run through before I let you in to look at the work, and I'd just quickly like to thank all of my colleagues here at Curtin who have worked so hard in the last few months to make this happen. To our Noongar friends from the Great Southern, especially Uncle Angus Wallam, I welcome you all and thank you for making the long trip to be with us. I realise we have much more work to do to reach out to many more people for whom these artworks are so special. To our partners, Colgate University and the MUNGART BOODJA Art Centre, I look forward to working with you in the future years to ensure the spirit of Carrolup lives on and inspires future generations through our commitment to preserve and share this collection. Very special welcome to Dr. Anya Chavez, who's made a very long trip, only arrived today from New York. And as part of our commitment to provide access to the collection, I'm very happy to announce that we're planning a tour into the Great Southern in 2014, which at the moment includes Albany and Bunbury, and we're looking forward to more discussions with Katanning and possibly Esperance. To gallery sponsors Navitas Limited, Howard Park Wines and UniCredit, I thank you for your continuing support. I just mentioned that catalogues and list of works are available over at the reception. You'll need the list of works to find out which works are which. And please refrain from eating or drinking in the three main galleries. That's all from me. Please enjoy the exhibition and come back with friends. Thank you.